host of the Gridiron.
All right, welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. It's totally free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link. Takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants to Ground. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,500 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group down here 365. It's called the New York Giants to Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, a lot of stuff to talk about here. A little bit of the combine. I mean, obviously, there was some combine stuff going on, but as always, there's a bunch of people who just, understandably, did not want to participate, right, in the throwing or, So, but which is nice in a way because it does open up the door for some other players, maybe to share in some of the spotlight at the combine, right? Because all eyes right are on the combine. And especially, right, this is the time of the season that we get usually that one quarterback, right? Like, oh my God, this guy, it was like JJ last year, JJ McCarthy was like, this guy could be the greatest quarterback of all time. Oh my, he could be like the number one pick, right? So he was like shooting up the boards and all of that. So usually, there's always somebody maybe start catching fire, right? There was a couple guys who maybe didn't really catch fire at the combine, but there were some that did well for themselves. But of course, as we were kind of thinking, Ward and Sanders, we're not going to partake in throwing. And I said, and certainly understand when you're talking, right? Well, you can say lots of money, but I mean, if you figure one's going to go one or whatever, they're going if they're going to go close to the top. The first guy I think in the draft is around 10 million. If the other guy gets picked 2, 3, 4 picks later or whatever, it's losing a little bit of money, but it's not huge, right? It's not like you're going from the first round, slide back to the third round or something like that. That's not happening. What would be, obviously, in especially for the quarterbacks, right? Is if you got somebody who might be like a day 3 pick. Yeah, he might be a backup day 3 kind of guy or something like that. But if he does really good in the combine, he may goes from like day 3, a 4th, 5th round pick, maybe up to a 2nd round pick or something like that. So you have to wait and see, who did well for themselves. But it's we got wow. What do we got? About 2 weeks, and free agency starts. The tampering period, I think, is actually my bad. It's a week. Next Monday, the 10th. The tampering period starts, right? And then because you can't officially sign them until the 12th, the new league year, the 12th. So it's right now in the Eastern time zone anyway. It's 11:26. So when my spider senses tell me that would be 34 minutes. So in 34 minutes, it would actually be Monday. So if you want to go by like that, so a little over, about 33 minutes from now, right? Would be about 1 week away from the tampering, free agent tampering, whatever you want to call it. But you can't officially sign them until the Wednesday. But the thing is that, the tampering period will start and like 1 minute after the official tampering period starts, so-and-so is signed with this, so-and-so is signed with that, so-and-so, you know what I mean? So But we got 1 week until free agency starts. Isn't that crazy? Absolutely crazy. So really have to wait and see what the Giants are going to wind up doing. But, and I love my man, Mr. Jermaine Eluemunor. Hope he stays around for a little while. You know, I didn't see it live or nothing like that. I don't, you know, I don't, I'm not, I don't watch TV or whatever like that. You know, I don't watch much TV at all. But my Greenberg was talking about, you know, with the Giants and everything, and talking about, you know, I believe, I guess it was Matthew Stafford, you know, he couldn't possibly want to go there. He said, you know, it says in this article some of the things, but one of the things he was talking about was how bad the offensive line was. And, you know, that might be true, maybe toward the end, you know, but of course they don't put stuff in perspective. Jermaine, you know, kind of clapped back at him, you know, talked, or responded, shall we say, to what was said on air. You know, in the first few games, I mean, the Giants' offensive line was not bad. It was functionable, right? They did a nice job. Were they a top 10 unit? No, right? But with, you know, could you win with that? What they were doing? Yeah, yes, you could, right? Then, of course, shockingly, the injuries start popping up right now. Once again, you get and I guess I can't stand the Eagles. If you take the Eagles and have the Eagles, what happened with the Giants, have that happen with the Eagles ain't going to the Super Bowl. Right? I mean, get all the guys injured, take their best tackle, which would be Lane Johnson, knock him out all season long. And then they have to go through 10 different offensive line changes, right? They're not going to the Super Bowl, right? You know, so of course everybody seems to forget that, but of course that seems to happen every year with the Giants. But, you know, same thing happened the year before, except like, you know, 2 years ago, you know, in 2023, you know, we had gave up all those sacks. Sacks came down quite a bit this year, but 2 years ago, we had all the different starting offensive line units. I mean, you just can't win like that. I mean, obviously, there was a point in time there we won probably, I don't know, 7-8 weeks in a row. I didn't look, you know, but it was like by 7 or 8 weeks in a row, whatever. We had like every week was a different offensive line unit because every week somebody was getting injured. Right, some guy would get knocked out for a game or two, whatever, and he would come back and was switching. You know, the left tackle got knocked out, right? Then you're taking the right tackle, putting him over left tackle. You're putting a new right tackle. You know, just switching guys around, right? Runyon, who never gets injured. Of course, he comes to the Giants, he gets injured. You know, it was just like one thing after the other. But you know, Jermaine was, you know, he you know. Got to give the man some credit, right? And whoops, I got to move my legs. Sorry, buddy. Got my dog once again ringing here. All right, buddy. There we go. Okay. But you know, so he clapped back at him, and so we got here. Giant players calls out Mike Greenberg over terrible comment. So the Giants were one of the worst teams in the NFL last season, and they finished 3-14. No denying that, right? Team with that many losses is going to have several issues, but ESPN's Mike Greenberg singled out one position group with recent comments. During an episode of Get Up, you know, I said, I never watch it. Yeah. Greenberg discussed the possibility of Matthew Stafford joining the team, and he questioned why he would want to do so at this stage of his career. And we're going to talk about Stafford in just, you know, a little bit. Matt Stafford can't seriously want to go to the Giants, Greenberg said. You're going to a wind tunnel behind a terrible offensive line on a team that was just awful last year, where the coach and general manager's careers are basically hanging by a thread in that market. Greenberg's statement isn't inaccurate from a relative standpoint, as the Giants did have a bad offensive line in comparison to the rest of the NFL last season. But as I said, if you give all the injuries to all those other offensive line units, guess what? They're going to be a lot worse than they are. Right? One Giants offensive lineman responded to Greenberg's comments, and he didn't appreciate how the unit was characterized. I'm not one to make excuses, but before Andrew Thomas went down, we were dogging some of the best defensive lines in the league. Go watch the tape, said Giants offensive lineman Jermaine Eluemunor. We can sit down and watch the tape together, my guy. Don't care who it is back there in 25, but whoever it is will be greatly protected, Eluemunor added. So this was Green. He said, behind a terrible offensive line, I'm not one to make – is what he said there. This is what Jermaine said. Now, Damian Woody said on Matthew Stafford, no way I would want to play for the New York football Giants. The football Giants are a disaster. Eluemunor then repeated his offer to ask Greenberg to watch film together, asking him to bring Damian Woody, a former offensive lineman who also criticized the Giants on Get Up. No way, as what Woody said, no way I would want to play for the New York football Giants, Woody said after Greenberg's comments. New York football Giants are a disaster. We've seen what happened this past year. Giants certainly have an uphill battle ahead of them next season, and making it back to postseason will start with the offensive line and their ability to protect the quarterback. Well, they have to stay healthy. I mean, there's no team that's going to have all those different offensive line units, right? Especially have their best offensive lineman, knock him out the whole season, almost the whole season, right? And get all those different offensive, and unless maybe you'd have to have like a Patrick Mahomes or somebody like that who could overcome that. But most teams out there, if they have 10 different offensive line units, they lose their star tackle. Right, as I said, Lane Johnson out, knock him out for the Eagles, give them all those offensive line combinations and all that. They really would struggle going to a Super Bowl. Really would. Let's see. Giants certainly have an uphill battle, and making it back to the postseason will start with the offensive line and their ability to protect the quarterback. Well, it's also their ability to stay healthy. We'll see how they do next year, and we'll also find out if Greenberg or Woody responded to Eluemunor's request to watch film together. I'm sure they did. It's so easy to do this, right? And of course, you don't wind up backing it up. Let's see. So there's also another one here, too, from Yahoo Sports. Giants have become a soft target, and everyone loves punching down. It's exactly what Mike Greenberg and Damian Woody did on Thursday during an episode of Get Up, with each one taking turns mocking the Giants and warning players to avoid the disaster of an organization. Woody delivered a specific message to new Los Angeles Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, urging him to steer clear of the Giants at all costs. Greenberg mirrored that message, taking aim at the team's offensive line and the Northeast weather. I'm all for people getting as much leverage as they possibly can, Greenberg said. Matt Stafford can't seriously want to go to the Giants. I don't mean this as disrespectfully as it sounds, but you're going to a wind tunnel behind a terrible offensive line on a team that was just awful last year. They're in a ridiculously competitive division. I'm all for trying to drum up leverage, but if you're Matt Stafford, the Giants can't possibly be right now anywhere near the top of your list, can it? The commentary specifically about the offensive line did not sit well with Giants right tackle Jermaine Eluemunor, who shot back at Greenberg on X and challenged him to come watch some film. I'm not one to make excuses, but it's the same thing. We can sit down and watch the tape together, my guy, Jermaine said. Like linebacker Kayvon Thibodeau, Eluemunor is fed up with the outsiders taking pot shots at the Giants. Unfortunately, this is going to persist until the team starts winning. I mean, that's the of course, that's the way it is. The only way you can really, shut anybody up, right, is you go out and win, right? Winning cures a lot of things. you know, um, when you win 3 games, when you're constantly picking in the top 10, you're easy prey, right? To get picked on, right? It's simple. You got to go out there and win. You start winning, you start turning the narrative around, right? People don't. It's not as easy to take shots at you, right? But I said, but the one thing is with the offensive line, right? They have to stay healthy, plain and simple. Andrew Thomas has missed, I think, over the last 2 seasons, obviously 17 and 17. So over the last 2 seasons, 34 games. He's missed 18 of the 34 games. Is this going to be a recurring theme with him? Is he going to constantly keep getting problems with his ankles and his feet and all that every year? I mean, then he had the hamstring and he missed a bunch of time with that, and he came back and, just missing so much time, right? Guys just can't stay healthy. We had Van Roten, the oldest one on the whole offensive line, managed to play all the games, all the snaps and all the games and everything, right? Hopefully think about bringing him back, right? Because even if he doesn't wind up, we're going to talk more about the guard position a little later in our program here. But I said, even if Van Roten comes back, it winds up being a backup. I mean, it'd be fantastic depth for you, right? And he'd be cheap. He's old, but he's cheap, right? So it'd be interesting to see. So we'll talk about the guard position a little bit later. But I said that the key thing is the Giants have to stay healthy on the offensive line, right? I mean, see, unfortunately, what we've noticed with the Giants is they have a hard time, developing their players. I mean, the guys come in, and if they're okay, they're okay. But I mean, we have not really seen too much, right, from the Giants, especially in the past recent kind of history. Drafting a guy, whatever, in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, whatever it is, you get him in there. He's a backup. Okay, but we're going to work on him. We're going to develop him. And after the 2nd year, this guy's not bad. In the 3rd year, this guy's a pretty good starter. See, that's what you do. You draft somebody later on. You bring him in. You develop the guard. They develop the tackle. You develop, and they start. They start off kind of slow, but the 2nd year a little better. The 3rd year, they're a solid. We don't get that with the Giants. You draft them. Here they are. You plop them on the offensive line, and what do you got? No, they're pretty good. Okay, well, they're good. They kind of stink. Well, that's where they're going to stay because we just don't seem to develop anybody. How many guys have we drafted, right? And if they're not good, almost like right away, right? They're going to be bad, right? I mean, how many guys have we drafted in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, 6th, whatever, right? And we develop them on the offensive line. Nope. So we got to keep working on the offensive line. Obviously, we got to, get obviously more depth, right? Well, that's going to be free agency or in the draft or a combination of both. But it sure would be nice if we could get some young guys in here, right? Especially through the draft, some young, cheaper guys and develop them. Wouldn't that be freaking unbelievable? Right? Because instead of, Runyon went down. The left guard went down. Oh, well, now we got to put so-and-so in there. Oh, boy, we're in trouble. So unfortunately, that winds up happening too much.